surprised a lot of people. Ole Miss won games 1 and 2, and the Lady Vols had to walk off Ole Miss in game 3. The Rebels have not had success in Knoxville at all up until 2 weekends ago. It was their first win, series win rather, in Knoxville in program history, which, again, a historic couple of weekends ago for Ole Miss. And we talked to Jamie Traxel. She is thinking the same thing. Maybe this could be the turning point in the Rebels season 2. And inside the circle today for Ole Miss is Kyra Aycock, the senior from Noonan, Georgia, transfer from Oklahoma State. What has impressed you about Kyra Aycock's game in the circle?
I think what's been the most impressive about her tenure out there in the circle has been her ability really to just kind of settle in. I think that with the amount of exposure she's had, how easily she's not really rocked here has been fantastic for her when it comes to being the lead pitcher here for the Ole Miss Rebels this year.
They compliment her and just how cool, calm, and collective that she is, but she faces a Texas A&M lineup that is just dangerous, 1 through 9. It starts with Kennedy Powell at the top. Maya Perez and Michaela Warwick have a combined 30 home runs together. This is a lineup that against the SEC is hitting .322. You all know that the SEC is where the best are. And to be that consistent as a team offensively has just been remarkable for Trisha Ford's crew. And defensively for Ole Miss, the Rebels and their head coach, Jamie Traxel, very happy with how her defense has performed. You see number 20, Cassie Reesner, on your screen. She's at shortstop today. She has been a stellar pickup for Ole Miss. She's joined by Mackenzie Pickens, the true sophomore up the middle. Ryan Starr, who's been a star at third lately for the Rebels. Percy Yamas at first. And in the outfield, Leilana Applin, a D2 transfer. Taylor Malvin, who was on Ole Miss's Women's College World Series team last year. Maddie George, a true freshman down the right field line, with Kennedy Bunker behind the plate today doing the catching for Kyra Aycock. Let's have some fun. Game 1 of this SEC series between Ole Miss and Texas A&M. First pitch from Aycock in there, called strike, and we're off and running in the Mid-South. Gorgeous day, upper 70s, low 80s. Wind's a non-factor today. Trees are blooming. It's a gorgeous day for softball as Powell fouls off the bunt attempt, and it's 0-2. The 0-2 is bounced to the right side and past Pickens. Don't see her make too many mistakes at second base. Pickens.
You don't. I think right there, if she had just stepped forward a little bit more, got herself and her body a little bit more in front of the ball there, I think she honestly would have had a solid play at first.
And as the sun sets too here in Oxford, she's kind of in that area on the part of the dirt where she's in the sun, yes, but anything coming to her starts off in the shade. That's got to be pretty tough.
Your reaction time has to be almost immediate, especially once it finally gets out of the shaded area. By the time it's seeing her, by the time it's getting to her when she is in the sun, you have to be able to pick up on that ball extremely quick if you want to get a solid read on it.
Yeah, because you saw her come in on it, then hesitate, go back. And again, we talked about Jamie Traxel for Ole Miss, who raved about her team's defense at Tennessee and also in their midweek games. Talon Edwards at the plate and takes sign away, 1-1. They do give Kennedy Powell the hit, too. So that's number 56 on the season for Powell. Here's the 1-1. And it's flown out to the gap, left center. Malvin on the run, can't get there, the center fielder. It's Applin, the left fielder, who makes the long throw all the way to third base, and Powell retreats back to second. So a pretty long single for Edwards, who picks up her 38th hit on the season. Now Texas A&M, through their first 2 batters, have back-to-back singles.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to kind of expect that coming in against Texas A&M. I mean, this late in the season, you're about midway through now. I mean, you know, SEC tournament is not far away, and I think right now you find that most of the girls on teams have kind of like hit their momentum. They're kind of in a rhythm here.
Maya Perez at the plate, 14 homers this season from Corona, California. the junior. And Aggies lineup that's coming off a massive series win against then number 11 Georgia. Won the first game 3-2, then in a doubleheader they split last Friday. That gets by Bunker, and now the runners move up. And I'm not going to say I can read minds, but if you're Jamie Traxel, you're thinking after a stellar weekend defensively up in Knoxville, where you pick up, again, a stunner. We highlighted it at the top of the broadcast. This is just not the way they wanted this to go. You talk about a fieldable ground ball from Pickens at second base, and now that pass ball.
I mean, all it does is lets the other team advance on mistakes. I think that you're going to find that a lot from this Aggie softball team because they're so aggressive up at the plate and on the bases.
And Perez bounces it foul. This is an All-American at the plate, too. Big situation this early in the ball game. I'll tell you what, if you're Trisha Ford, this is how you drew things up through the first 3 hitters. 2 on in scoring position, nobody out for your first team All-SEC honoree, and she fouls off the second to stay alive. Perez had a 304-foot bomb against McNeese earlier this week, too.
Well, we know she's used to the long game with 14 home runs this year and hitting at 455?
Outside from Aycock, 2-2. And Aycock was critical in that series win at Tennessee. She pitched in 2 of 3 games, including a start. Complete game start in game 1. And Aycock calls time. Still 2-2 to Texas A&M's leader in average slugging percentage, total bases and walks. She continues to stay alive.
I think this is something we've kind of watched Kyra struggle with a little bit this year, is getting so deep into counts and kind of almost wasting more pitches than you feel comfortable doing, especially in the first inning here. What you want to try to do is to keep them off of their toes by not showing them everything you have at the top of 1.
The 2-2. And Perez is just showcasing what she's able to do at the plate. This is a massive reason why she's an All-American, spoiling pitches and just frustrating opposing pitchers. Was that the worst when you were a pitcher back in your day? You could not put away a hitter?
No, yeah, at that point you're just massively frustrated, and you try to bring it back to basics, you try to work on fundamentals, and then too, a lot of this relies on scouting. The
2-2 misses low and away, 3-2. Again, Texas A&M has runners on second and third, nobody out thanks to back-to-back singles and a pass ball.
I don't think here it would be the worst hit to put her on first. I mean, then you have a force out at any plate or any bag.
Full count pitch, misses. Bases are loaded. That one was close.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like right now, you want your catcher to kind of turn around and have a little conversation with the umpire and ask him where exactly that missed and just kind of have a little bit of relay there.
Well, it doesn't get any easier for Kyra Aycock here because Michaela Wark's at the plate. Bases loaded, nobody out for Texas A&M. And ball 1 thrown to Wark, who was Kyra Aycock's teammate the last 3 seasons at Oklahoma State. Wark has 16 homers this season. Inside for ball 2. Wark spent the last 3 years at OSU, was an NFCL region honoree her freshman year. And now Nancy Evans, pitching coach for Ole Miss, calls time and she wants to have a chat with Aycock. But Kyra Aycock already through the first 4 hitters in this Texas A&M lineup facing former teammates of hers, and Talon Edwards and Michaela Wark.
Sometimes that's not such a bad thing, I think sometimes it could also be like the adverse effect. You could also then press a whole bunch because you know exactly what they do want to hit. But I mean, I think that's also where it comes down to having such a solid relationship with your pitching coach and being able to have that line of communication, like, hey, I don't feel comfortable throwing her this, especially given a situation like now with bases loaded, nobody out, the top of one.
What would you say to Acock right now if you're Coach Evans?
A couple of things, bro.
I don't know if you.
I'd have a couple questions. I
Yeah.
think you kind of like, it's a temperature gauge. You just trying to figure out, like, what did she warm up like? I mean, this, maybe this is similar to her warm up earlier, in the day before getting started, but also
Absolutely.
checking in, letting her know what you feel comfortable in doing, because you have a lot of game to play.
2-0 pitch is in there, called strike. Bases loaded for Texas A&M. Nobody out in the early goings in Oxford, top half of the first. And what has been a disastrous inning for Ole Miss, but everything you want if you're Texas A&M. And Wark leaves it high, now 3-1. 3-1 to Wark, who's 5th in the SEC and 15th in the country in homers. 3rd in the conference in RBIs. The 3-1 pitch with bases loaded. She lines it foul into her own bullpen. Now it's 3-2 with nobody out. And bases loaded.
Another deep count for her. I mean, I think what you'd like to see from Kyra is a little bit more of like a settle down moment, kind of finding the strike zone and really nailing that hard.
And walks her with bases loaded. 1-0 Texas A&M with nobody out and bases stay loaded. Give Wark her 54th RBI in the year, and you mentioned Acock working those deep counts. It's not like she's missing, and missing by much. These are just really good at bats by Texas A&M.
I think with the amount of movement that she has and the amount of change that she's got, she's so versatile with the amount of pitches that she can throw to you. I think that that's probably a large strategy they've taken today, is just to be patient up there, to find pitches that you want to hit and to wait on one.
Ariel Kowalewski at the plate, takes ball 1 and watches ball 2. Again, nobody out for Texas A&M, and bases remain loaded. Infield's in for Ole Miss. She goes by AK, and is the catcher today, the sophomore. Next pitch, misses, 3-0. And now Acock can't find the strike zone. As Ole Miss gets busy in their bullpen. 3-0's the count, bases loaded for Texas A&M. 1-0 Aggies. And Kowalewski does not have the green light on a 3-0. Transferred in from Florida 2 years ago. Had to sit out all of last year and all of this fall due to the mid-year interconference transfer rule. The 3-1 is hit on the ground left side past a diving Star. And another run comes in for A&M. They lead Ole Miss 2-0. Still nobody out and bases stay loaded on Kowalewski's 31st RBI of the year.
That's just a phenomenal at-bat. I mean, you talk about her having to sit out for a year and a half due to the interconference transfer. But, I mean, what a solid way to answer back and to come back for your team and just constantly be like a force out there.
Nobody out. Bases loaded for Kelsey Mathis. Already a 2-0 Texas A&M lead. Kyra Acock for Ole Miss just has not been able to locate. 2 walks this inning, 1 with bases loaded, and now the RBI single from Kowalewski. 1-0 to Mathis, misses. Started this game allowing back-to-back singles to Kennedy Powell and Talon Edwards, one of which was a ground ball to second base that Mackenzie Pickens for Ole Miss misplayed. 3-0. Now she just can't find the strike zone.
She can't. I mean, I don't think that there's no right answer here, and I feel like at the moment, given that bases are loaded and have been the majority of this inning now, it's not that she's not able to locate some of her pitches. Some of them are definitely working. She's putting the ball into play. It's just they're all hard-hit balls. I think the read on them is a little off, and you've kind of seen like a shift in the defense. You've got players playing up in back positions.
And Mathis works a 4-pitch walk. Another run comes in. 3-0 Texas A&M. And the A&M dugout is letting Kyra Aycock hear about it. She's thrown 5 balls in a row. This is how you drew up this inning if you're the Aggies.
Absolutely. There's nothing, I mean, you don't want anything more than to put that much pressure on a pitcher. I mean, make her make mistakes and not be able to answer back. I mean, like you said, I think she just struggled to find the strike zone at all, really. I mean, which puts, you know, the Ole Miss Rebels in a tough position here. They have no other choice but to pull from the bullpen, and there's no other chance. I mean, I think, you know, you'll see Lily Witten come in here.
Yeah, Lily Witten comes in for Ole Miss. We'll tell you about Witten when we come back. 3-0 Texas A&M, bases loaded and nobody out. Lily Witten, the junior for Ole Miss, in her first season with the Rebels. She too was a mid-year transfer last year, had to sit out all the spring and the fall. This is her first season playing for Ole Miss. 6-0 in decisions this season and 20 appearances, 2.46 ERA. And she's kind of been in this role for Ole Miss this year. When the starters get in trouble, she's come out of the bullpen, and all things considered, Carly, she's done a pretty good job for the Rebels.
I mean, with a 2.46 ERA and being the saver here, I think that you couldn't ask anything more of Lily Witten, and she has done a fantastic job this year for Ole Miss and the Rebels.
Well, she has inherited a mess. Bases loaded and nobody out against KK Dement, the shortstop today for Texas A&M. She entered 2026 as a top 10 shortstop in the country. Softball America ranked her the 8th best shortstop entering this season. And a dangerous hitter at the plate with bases loaded and nobody out, but she pops up. See if it stays fair. Looks like foul grounds. Ryan Starr makes the catch. And if you're Lily Witten, you're just trying to get in, out, and limit the damage as much as you possibly can here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's nothing more that you can ask of your pitchers but to be able to put the ball into play. Give the defense an opportunity to make some outs, to kind of answer back for you, and do this as a team.
Well, if you're Texas A&M, you're salivating at this opportunity. Already 3 runs in. Back-to-back singles to start this first by Kennedy Powell and Talon Edwards. Maya Perez worked a walk. Michaela Wart walked with bases loaded. Kowalewski with an RBI single. Kelsey Mathis RBI walk with bases loaded. Hits the edge, 1-1. Paisley Allen hitting .250 this season. Was a Georgia Bulldog a year ago. She's from Texas, transferred to be closer to home. And strike 2. Lily Witten trying to limit the damage. This is her 7th appearance in conference play. Her ERA in the previous 6 appearances is 10.08.
Yeah, you talk about finding a groove. I mean, bringing that ERA down that much.
Infield in for Ole Miss. Two is fouled off as Allen sat back on that off speed. Flashes a smile, hitting .409 this year too with runners in scoring position. Another dangerous batter for Texas A&M, and that dugout is just all sorts of excited about this situation. 2-2 is fouled off to the right. This is what Trisha Ford wanted. Jump on the opponent right away in a series opener.
I think you have to. When you know that Ole Miss just took the series, the last games that they played when they took the series from Tennessee, I think that this is the exact performance that you're expecting out of your girls at the top of one.
There's Coach Ford. 2-2. Hit in the air to deep center, and Malvin makes the catch. It's plenty deep enough, though, to score Ward from third. 4-0 Texas A&M. On the sac fly RBI by Allen, her 15th ribby this year.
I mean, she just gets a hold of that ball. I mean, and I know that she doesn't get on there, but she is able to make a production here for the team to put another run up on the board, and now it's 4-0.
That's the 21st sac fly for Texas A&M this year. That's 9th in the country. Frankie Rachel, sophomore. With runners on first and second base, the pitch is off the plate. Ole Miss faithful wanted it. Top of the orders on deck for Texas A&M. Done some damage on Ole Miss in the first. Kyra Aycock not even recording an out for Ole Miss in her 22nd appearance this year. This is hit in the air, right center field. Malvin's on the run and can't get there. This will clear the bases. Krausel's all the way to third with the bases clearing triple. 2 more for the Aggies in the first.
I mean, that's just a great at-bat right there. I mean, way to come up for your team with bases loaded and be able to clear them with a triple here in the top of 1. I mean, they've recorded 6 runs already in the first and on 2 outs.
It has gotten ugly in the top frame in Oxford. Back to the top of the order to Kennedy Powell. Called strike. Had that single to start this ball game. It was a chopper to second base, and Mackenzie Pickens kind of hesitated. It got by her, and they ruled it a hit. But the Aggies have batted around in the top half of the first, and they look to continue.
Yeah. I mean, even on 2 outs, I think this is, you know, if you're Ole Miss, I think that you kind of expected this coming into the weekend, knowing that they were going to be this aggressive, this patient at the plate.
This is bounced up the middle, and there's Cassie Reisner, who throws out Powell as the Aggies score 6 runs in the top half of the first. Ole Miss already with some work to do. They've yet to grab the bats. Well, if you're Texas A&M and tonight's starter, Sydney Lessentine, who already has an abundance of confidence coming in, I mean, you give her a 6-0 lead before she even throws her first pitch today, Carly. That's going to be one tough ask for anybody.
Agreed. I mean, I think that there's no better way that you want to come in starting this, getting this close to the end of season, knowing that everyone's trying to take a bid here into the postseason. Gives her a fantastic little cushion here at the start.
True sophomore in her second season at Texas A&M. A year ago led A&M in ERA, whip, and opponent batting average. Earned 2 wins in that big series win against Georgia last weekend. It's also the first time this season she's gotten 2 wins in SEC weekend. 6 innings, 6 strikeouts against the Dogs in game 1 of that series. Of her 6 strikeouts, 3 of them down looking, and 5 2/3 in the finale. Allowed 7 hits, but just 1 earned run. She goes up against Kennedy Bunker, who leads things off for Ole Miss, followed by Mackenzie Pickens and Percy Yamas, Maddie George. Cassie Reisner's had a hot bat too. 2 homers earlier this week for the Rebel offense against Samford. And Bunker takes low and away. Simi Valley, California native Bunker. And a transfer from Fresno State. She helped turn Fresno State around. Lessentine misses outside. A .350 ERA against the SEC this season. Second on Texas A&M's roster. 4th in the SEC with a .527 strikeout to walk ratio. 3-1. Bunker got the series started against Tennessee a couple of weeks ago with a leadoff home run. It was her 6th on the year. Wanted her 7th. Was that a good 3-1 pitch to swing at it?
Yeah, I mean, that was solid. I don't think there's any way that you don't swing at that. I mean, you at least have to try. That's just got some wicked spin on it.
3-2, swing and a miss. Lessenteen's 80th strikeout this season.
I mean, she does a great job of staying off of the plate low, and it kind of even backdoors in there just a little bit, which you're going to find is one of her best pitches. I think if they can lay off of that, she may miss more outside, but I mean, as far as level, that's going to be a strike all day.
Paints the edge on Mackenzie Pickens, 0-1. Pickens in her second season at Ole Miss, the sophomore. Hitting just 182 against the SEC this season, 6 for 33 at the plate. And an Ole Miss team that's just struggled in conference play. Hitting 199 as a team against the conference that's worst in the 15-team SEC. And Pickens ropes it into right center, down for a base hit and all the way to the wall. Pickens hustles into second with a standing double. Ole Miss needed that. Pickens with her 6th double on the year.
I think that's exactly how you want to answer back. You also want to show this Aggies softball team that, you know, Ole Miss is here to compete. They're here to hit the ball. They're here to get on base. And they're here to do the same thing, I think, that, you know, you watch the Aggies do at the top of one year for them.
As Mackenzie Pickens' first extra base hit in conference play this year. Now she gives way to her sophomore teammate, Percy Yamas, who rolls it to first base. It kicked off the bag, and Perez steps on first for the out. That's a fair ball. Now 2 away for Ole Miss. No, beg your pardon, foul ball. I was gonna say, I didn't see a signal.
I didn't either.
From anybody. Pickens back to second base. Still 1 away. Yamas at the plate. 0-1 count. Yamas, an NFCA All-South Region second-teamer, All-SEC second-teamer her freshman year last year. And looks at strike 2. Leads Ole Miss with a .406 batting average. Has 30 RBIs this year, tied second most on Ole Miss. Also leads the Rebels in hits and doubles. Just say there's a reason why Percy Yamas is in the 3 spot. Jamie Traxel saying that she never looks like she sweats. She's just so even-keeled in the batter's box. Here's Lessenteen's 1-2. Chopped on the ground to second base, played perfectly by Edwards. 2 away. And Pickens moves up to third base for Maddie George. She has opened some eyes in Oxford, George. Leads Ole Miss in RBIs, homers, slugging percentage, total bases, OPS north of 1,200 coming into today. How tough is it to be so good so early in one's career like George has been in the SEC?
I mean, I think that there's, you know, like it's a diamond kind of thing. You know, I think that there's nothing you want to do more as a freshman when you come into a team and be able to, like, be given an opportunity to really show up, show out for your team. But it also makes it a tough ride coming, you know, for your years to come. With experience, you expect that she'll just get stronger, she'll get better, you'll see those numbers rise. But, you know, oftentimes or not, you'll find yourself in a couple ruts.
One, she turns on it, down the line, and foul. Had the distance, but on the wrong side of the foul pole. And already 6-0 Texas A&M lead after the top half of the first inning. Kyra Aycock didn't record an out. Bases loaded, walked in 2 runs, an RBI single. Lily Witten then allowed a 2 RBI triple. And George on a rope into center and played by Mathis, who makes the catch, and Ole Miss strands Pickens on third. It's still a 6-0 Texas A&M lead through the first inning in Oxford. It's a series that Texas A&M has dominated, 21-5. In fact, the Aggies have won 5 of the last 6 meetings. The last Ole Miss series win was in 2021. Last year, these two teams met in College Station. Texas A&M was ranked 7th, and Ole Miss was swept. It's the Aggies' 4th ever trip to Oxford since joining the SEC. Talon Edwards faces Lily Witten, and Witten leaves it high for ball 1. Singled in her last at-bat in that 6-run top half of the first inning. And you know this Texas A&M offense, they're not done yet. Aggies moved up from 15 to 13 in the ESPN top 25 poll after their series win against number 11, Georgia. Now 3-0. The RPI's 20, highest it's been all season. This is an Aggies team trending in the right direction. They've won 3 of their 4 SEC series at this point in the year. Taking down Kentucky, LSU, and like we mentioned, Georgia. A 4-pitch walk.
You know, I think that this is a common struggle we've seen from the Ole Miss pitchers, is their inability to kind of settle in and find the strike zone. I mean, at this point, you've got to be able to come back with a pitch that you know you can count on to at least get you a strike, to try to keep those numbers, I mean, just down. I can't even say a little down, but you've got to be able to control the walks here.
Coming into today, Ole Miss had walked 65 batters in conference play. 2nd worst in the SEC.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And the A&M dugout is letting Lily Witten know how many balls she's thrown in a row. 6 of them. There's a strike to Maya Perez. 1-1. Can that get to you as a hitter when you hear the opposing dugout just chanting like that, letting you know?
I mean, their dugout is ruthless. We've heard a couple of different chants so far that have already been a little like, you know, I mean, it stuck me like a sore, like, ow, ow.
Perez takes inside, 2-1. It's Texas A&M, though. They know it's them against the world. They got a swagger to them that, I mean, like we said, they came into today. They're there to play for each other and to do what it takes to give themselves a win. 3-1. Again, Kyra Aycock, who started this game for Ole Miss, walked 3 hitters without recording an out back in the first, including twice with bases loaded. 3-1, called strike to Perez, who walked her first time up. Three-two, and Perez is going to say, that was ball 4. She turned around to look at Scott Merritt, the home plate umpire, after thinking maybe she struck out looking. Either way, Maya Perez gets a little deja vu, her 2nd walk today.
I mean, and that pitch really just misses. I mean, just a little bit low. But, I mean, if Perez is also questioning it there, you also wonder if she thought maybe she should have fouled that off.
It's back-to-back walks for Lily Witten to begin this 2nd inning. 5 walks already in this game for Ole Miss pitching. Work at the plate. And takes outside, 2-0. Now Kennedy Bunker out to have a chat with Lily Witten. And Witten's coming off a really good outing, too, for Ole Miss. I mean, she tossed 7 scoreless innings against Memphis. It was her 3rd complete game shutout this season, her 6th win on the year. Struck out 6, walks maybe a little too high. She walked 4. But they're talking about this young woman right here inside the circle, Michaela Wark, who has 16 homers this year, over 50 RBIs. I mean, talk about having a fresh start. Texas A&M's been a good fit for her. Sometimes players need that fresh start. She began her career at Oklahoma State.
A lot of it really is about finding your team, you know, finding coaches that you want to play for, being with teammates that you want to play with, I think is also a large factor.
Much needed strike from Lily Witten. 2-1 to Wark, who's hitting .424 against the SEC, the 4th best batting average in the conference. Now that .424 hitter in conference play has a 3-1 count.
This is kind of reminiscent of the first inning, you know. You're hopeful here that she's able to at least show out a little bit. At least just allow the girls to put the ball in play. Give your defense an opportunity to make an out. And hopefully not have any long ball.
The Aggies can do that too. 56 homers this year hit by Texas A&M. 6th in the conference. 27th in the country. Aggies sit 5th in the SEC standings. This is flown in the air, down the right field line. It's got a chance, and it's gone. The Aggies are pouring it on in the series opener in Oxford. Michaela Wark's 17th homer, and it's 9-0 Texas A&M.
I mean, that's tough right there. I think she lets that ball travel about as much as she needs to and then takes it to the opposite side of the fence. I mean, there's no better hitting than that right there. I mean, with 16, now 17 home runs on the season, it's not somebody you want to give a pitch that you know she can take out.
Giddy on up. 9-0 Aggies. Kowalewski steps up with already an RBI single today. That was a cool celebration. You got the hat and the horse. Who came up with that? Genius. Absolute genius. This is flown out to left. Applin near the line. Drifts into foul grounds and makes the catch. After a 3-run home run by Michaela Wark, finally an out comes for Ole Miss. And it's been the walks. That's the story. Ole Miss has walked 5 Texas A&M Aggies. All have come around to score.
And you can imagine that they've probably worked on this quite a bit in practice over the last couple of weeks, just because this has been a constant issue, I think, for the Ole Miss pitchers. Inability to locate the strike zone. But I also think that this one's fluctuating a little bit. I mean, even that pitch was, I think, a little high versus some of the balls you've watched, you know, create some of these walks, have been pretty close to the plate.
Kelsey Mathis. Watches one go by, 1-1. RBI walk, also a run scored back in that 6-run first inning. Still a long way to go as Witten steps off. Mathis, a Waco, Texas native. Check swing. It's 1-2. Mathis is hitting .364 against the SEC this year. Her season average is .338. Very rarely do you see players do better
Yeah.
in SEC play.
In your own conference,
yeah,
right.
because this is the top SEC conference in the nation. Rips it back up the middle. Base hit. 26th hit on the season for Mathis too. Now she's registered at least one hit in every SEC series this season. And gives way to KK DeMent. Now it's been a disastrous start for Ole Miss, who's allowed 6 hits, 9 runs. They've walked 5 batters. Ole Miss pitching has not struck out a hitter at all. And this is hitter number 16 to the plate for Texas A&M. And a first pitch strike 2 to KK DeMent, sitting over 300 this season. And DeMent bloops it right to Cassie Reisner, who makes the over-the-shoulder catch. Throw to first base in time to double them up. Much needed momentum of any kind for Ole Miss. Down 9-0 to A&M as Cassie Reisner does this herself. A beautiful snag and a dart to Percy Yamas at first base to double up Mathis. Thanks, Greeny. Cassie Reisner takes strike 1 from Sydney Lessentine. Ole Miss has only sent 4 batters to the plate so far, whereas Texas A&M has sent 16. And a 9-0 Aggies lead in our series opener between Texas A&M and Ole Miss. Harvest, Alabama native, a junior in her first season with Ole Miss. Reisner is Lessentine. Paints the upper corner. 1-2. Reisner spent the last 2 seasons at Kentucky. She's been impressive, especially lately for Ole Miss in the last week or so. Entering today in a 3-game hit streak. All 3 games are multi-hit games too. Gosh, that's tough to do.
I think she was a little timid here at the first of the season. I mean, I don't think you saw her as being as aggressive, but I mean, her defense is stellar. So when she's able to match that offense, I think that that's what makes her an elite player here for the Ole Miss Rebels.
But it has to be hard, right? You spend 2 years somewhere, and then you go somewhere. You know what you can do, but you don't want to step on any toes, and it's just you're in a new system, new teammates.
Yeah, but kinda.
Yeah, oh, okay.
You kind of want to step on some toes. I mean, you want to play, you know? Especially if you don't have to sit out a year. Respectfully.
Yeah. Well, people know too, hey, this is what they did in years past. I want to go to a new place and prove myself.
Like you said, a fresh start. Sometimes that's all you need, really. And, you know, in order for you to kind of like find your knack and like where you fit in and what program, you know, with which coaching staff and the girls that you play with, sometimes that's all you need is just another opportunity.
2-2 just puts the bat on the ball. Fouls it off, does a good job there.
More of those at-bats you hope to see from the Ole Miss Rebels if they want to compete the same way that you've watched the Aggies dugout. I mean, they're patient up there, they're fouling pitches off, they're making their pitchers go deeper in the count than you expect for them to. I mean, having to retire 2 of the pitchers already with somebody warming up in the bullpen for Ole Miss, I mean, I think you kind of just want to give them a taste of their same medicine.
Reisner continues to stay alive. Right into this point, down 9-0. You're just trying to get some runs on the board here to stop the bleeding, stay out of run rule territory, right? In which 5 of Ole Miss's 10 losses this year in conference play are run rules. The 9th pitch of the at-bat 2 coming to Reisner. But it's very rare, an inning and a half in, that a team is already in run rule territory in SEC play. On a line to the left for Reisner, and it's down for a base hit. Cassie Reisner's now 7 for 11 in her last 4 games, including this one. Jamie Traxel has to be pleased with that. All-time winningest coach in Ole Miss history in her 6th season. She's been very, very proud of Reisner and her recent development. There's Coach Traxel on the left. 5 straight NCAA tournaments, 2 for Ole Miss, going to the Women's College World Series last season. Mentioned her becoming the all-time winningest coach at Ole Miss, 208 wins now. She sends Taylor Roman to the plate after the leadoff single by Cassie Reisner. And Roman takes low. Kowalewski keeps it in front, but it's low. And Reisner moves up to second base. The kind of aggression on the base pass you really want to see from your players down 9-0 in the second.
You do. I mean, if you want to answer back at all, you have to be aggressive out there. You've got to be willing to kind of make some mistakes here. Even, I mean, there it looked like she caught kind of like a later jump on it. Wasn't sure if she was going to go or not, but you can imagine she's probably getting a sign from Coach Traxel that anything on the ground, you better be booking it.
Scored a wild pitch. And Taylor Roman's ahead 2-0. Power hitter for Ole Miss, also a Texas native from Missouri City, facing Texas A&M. 263 hitter on the season. This is her first at-bat today. Well out in front of that, 2-1. Served mainly as a pinch hitter last year for Ole Miss in her first season as a Rebel. However, just 2 hits in her last 9 games. One of those 2 hits was a homer against Memphis in a midweek. She held up on the check swing. 3-1. Sydney Lessentine allowed that 1-out double back in the first inning to Mackenzie Pickens. But other than that, to begin this ball game, pretty much cruised through the first frame. On the ground to third, and foul. Roman's kind of struggled staying in the lineup throughout her career. She's been battling some injuries. That's why last year she was more of a pinch hitter. But going into the Tennessee finale a couple of weeks ago, she played in her 23rd straight game. It's the longest stretch of consecutive games in her career. Swings and misses for strike 3. Her 15th strikeout in conference play, that's second most in the SEC.
I mean, the hard part here, too, is that you haven't seen her enough to really be able to pick up on anything that could keep you from laying off of some of those pitches, you know. Being able, you know, relying on your dugout to tell you to sit, to wait on some things. They just haven't been able to see enough of her, I think, in order for them to kind of make some solid adjustments.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up about Sydney Lessentine, who now faces Leilana Applin, Ole Miss's left fielder. But the story with her in that LSU series, she came in, pitched twice, and she reinvented herself that entire weekend. She was a different pitcher in outing number 1 than she was outing number 2.
That's normal. I mean, I don't think that you ever really go out there and you show the same thing. You know, I mean, you talk about scouting reports being easier to pick things up on. I think you're constantly working. Some of the most elite pitchers, you know, in the world really are constantly working.
Yeah, in that series, the story was, I mean, she was an up-ball pitcher one day, came out the next outing, and was just pitching down.
So, you know, interestingly enough, you know, doing my own research, she is developing more of a drop ball, and I think that she struggled because if you're just a rise ball pitcher, like I was myself, I didn't have a drop ball I couldn't throw in if my life depended on it.
Okay.
It made it tough, you know? I mean, you give all your hitters anything up and in the zone, it's so much easier to take that ball out. Now, a drop ball is going to, the only thing typically, I mean, unless you're hanging that, majority of the time, you're going to have a high ground ball percentage because of the spin on that. It's not as easy to take out.
She's got a 2-2 count now to Applin with the runner on second base and 1 away. 9-0 Aggies early in this one. And it's outside. Why is it such a tough pitch, you think, to develop?
For me, I mean, it was I have watched multiple pitchers be able to do both. Now, you know, sometimes you'll find that it doesn't affect some girls, but a lot of it has to do with the explosion and coming off of the mound, whether or not you can keep your arm further in front of you versus behind.
Between the legs of Dement. And ricochets in the left, halfway down the line. Applin brings in a run. Reisner scores from second base, and Ole Miss is on the board in the bottom half of the second. That was hit hard. They'll give Applin the hit. And that's tough for any shortstop. It was scorched right to her.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hard read right there, especially, you know, with nobody out at that point, or one out, you've got a runner on. Your defense is going to be back. There's no way you're crashing in on that. That ball gets, you know, 3 good hops on the ground, and majority of the time you're either looking for trouble or looking at trouble or definitely a base hit.
That was Leilana Aplin's 4th hit in SEC play. As Rachel Connors comes in to hit for Ole Miss. Ryan Starr was slated in this 8th spot, and without even an at-bat, Jamie Traxel goes to Connors here. And ball 1 thrown to Connors. Sophomore from Chandler, Arizona, smashed her 2nd home run of the season against Samford. Jamie Traxel brought her up to us pregame earlier because I asked her, I said, who's not getting enough credit, you think, on your team? Who do we not talk about enough? And Connors was one of those players that she brought up, just saying that she's putting in the work behind the scenes, and that's why she's been getting some opportunities here. Takes a strike. Connors, too, listed as a catcher and a utility player. Has Kennedy Bunker in front of her right now, but Coach Traxel's raved about Connors' leadership in the past to us. 2-2. Lessentine delivers. Inside jam job, right side. Edwards slips to first for the 2nd out. That does move up Applin from 2nd base. So Connors does her job, moves over Applin. And a quick scoring change. They gave Applin the single at first initially, but now it's an error on Dement, the shortstop. Brings up the 9-spot hitter, Taylor Malvin. Infield playing in on Malvin, the slap hitter. Malvin kind of serves as that 9-spot leadoff hitter. It's actually a pretty good game plan. We've seen her in the leadoff spot before. Jamie Traxel switching Malvin with Kennedy Bunker. Especially with Bunker behind Malvin. Coaching staff hoping that they can build off each other in this lineup. There's Bunker, who's on deck, and with 2 outs has the shin guards on. 2-1 is flown into left and over the head of Allen, all the way to the wall. Malvin on her horse to 2nd base, takes the turn. And Ole Miss celebrating down 7. Bottom half of the 2nd inning, and 2 away. Slowly but surely chipping away as Allen just had a bad read and left.
Those are those times where your read on the ball and where your defense is currently having you play at really comes back to bite you. You know, I mean, they had her played in almost kind of as if to say, you know, like, you're not going to hit it past us. They're not expecting it, you know. I mean, not that she hasn't hit well this year, but I don't think she's hit as many long balls as we've seen her hit in the past, which I think, like you said, has also been a great strategic force here with, you know, Coach Traxel using her as that number 9 leadoff.
Taylor Malvin's 4th double this year. A career most for her in a season, and now she gives way to Kennedy Bunker. Batting first in this Ole Miss lineup, but like we said, and like Carly said, Bunker and Malvin trying to build off each other here. Flown out to deep left center all the way into the alley is Mathis, the center fielder, who makes the catch. 2 runs come in for Ole Miss, just 1 charge, though, to Lessentine. After 2 hits and an error, Ole Miss down 7. We head to the 3rd in Oxford. There's Tricia Ford, Texas A&M head coach since 2023. Boy, she's done a remarkable job. And her time as the head coach of the Aggies, won 14 of 20 SEC series, finished 4 or more spots ahead of the SEC preseason poll in each season. And last year, after a 48-win season, led Texas A&M to the national #1 ranking in the NCAA tournament and #1 overall seed. Coming off back-to-back 40-plus win seasons, too. What was a tremendous 2025 didn't end the way that they wanted to. Wound up getting upset in the College Station Regional. First time ever that the #1 overall seed failed to make it out of a regional in NCAA tournament history on the softball side. But that 48-win season, the most wins for Texas A&M in a year since 2008. They placed second in the SEC. Their highest finish since joining the league in 2013. Return back up the middle, off the glove of Witten, and Reisner couldn't reel it in. Safe at first base is Paisley Allen. Can't blame Lily Witten for trying to go down to get it. That took a weird hop on Reisner. And A&M starts this third inning and third straight inning with the leadoff runner aboard. Frankie Fragile at the plate. Had the 2 RBI triple her first time up, and now shows bunt, and it's foul. It's her second triple this year. Second triple in her career. True sophomore talked about her biggest jump from last year, confidence. That's such a simple answer, but there is so much loaded in that answer too, behind the scenes, mentally, physically. I mean, you've been through it before, that freshman to sophomore year jump. I mean, confidence is a big part of, and gaining confidence is always a big part of your development.
I agree. I mean, I think, you know, your freshman year, there's a lot. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of strength that you're facing, I think, against even just like others. You know, you watch girls that are 4 or 5 years older than you, potentially even larger than that.
Reisner to second and gets the force out. The shortstop for Ole Miss has played tremendous in the early parts of this game. Had a double play last inning that got Ole Miss out of the inning. Now there's one away in this third. Back to the top of the order, and Kennedy Powell, 1 for 2 today. Both their at-bats came in the first inning. Gosh, a 6-run inning back in the first. 4 hits for Texas A&M. They worked 3 walks, too. And Powell laces it left side, base hit. Now runners on first and second base for Texas A&M. And Ryan Starr, who just re-entered after she was pitched hit for by Rachel Connors, just short of that diving catch.
You know, when you listen to the coaching staff talk about Ryan Starr, they talk about how hard she works out on that defense. And I think right there, her laying out is just a fantastic way of showcasing that.
Now 8 hits today for Texas A&M. And pitch finishes low from Lily Witten. Talon Edwards at the plate. She is the 20th batter to come up in this game. And we have 1 out in the third.
You played nearly a whole game already in just the first 2 innings.
and leaves it high. The story today for Ole Miss this early, the walks. They've walked 5 Texas A&M Aggies. That was back in the first 2 innings, and all 5 came around to score. 8 hits so far, including a 3-run home run by Michaela Ward. The Aggies blew it open early. Going up 9-0 going into the bottom half of the second. Edwards already has 2 at-bats. This is number 3 for her today. She scored twice, 1 for 1 with the walk. Now 3-1. But this has been the story too. A lot of 3-1 counts. A lot of 3-2 counts, right, Carly, that Ole Miss has just not been able to execute.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're struggling a lot here with their pitching staff, and I think that that's kind of, it's throughout. It's not just one pitcher. It's not singular here. I think it's a plural issue that you're watching these pitchers get too deep into counts, wasting more pitches than they need to.
It's into shallow center. Catch made for Malvin, 2 away. Runners on first and second base for Texas A&M. Maya Perez steps up with 2 walks today. She now has 19 walks in SEC play. That ranks highest in the league.
And also with 14 home runs, like, that's just a patient hitter. Like, there's a reason that she's an All-American. That's those numbers right there. There's no way you can't letter her.
First team All-SEC honoree as well last year. Well on her way to another all-conference first team honor after this year. I think what's cool about her story is that she represented the Mexican national team last summer. Played in the Pan American Championship in Colombia. Got to experience her culture a little more, she said, and also leave the country for the first time. Now 3-0, and this is what she's been used to today. 3-0 counts. Gosh, what a cool experience getting to leave the country.
Yeah, play softball.
Play softball for your hometown or your home country. 3-1. I think what was cool about her experience is that she hit a grand slam against the Dominican Republic. I mean, just casually, right?
Especially against the Dominican Republic. Don't they practice with, like, hitting sunflower seeds?
I think everybody does.
No.
Her 3rd walk today. 20 walks for Perez in conference play.
That's insane. That's incredible.
Speaking of incredible, Michaela Ward going oppo, hugging the foul pole. 3-run shot her last time up. 17 homers, and she giddied on up back to her teammates in the dugout. Oh no, and she's got bases loaded. 2 away though. Lily Witten trying to keep this a 7-run ball game after Ole Miss got on the board last inning. I mean, this is a power hitter's dream. Strike 1. And she's having a much better year than last year, Wark, when she was at Oklahoma State. She hit just .241 last season in 53 games. And coming into this at-bat, she's up to .367. We talked about fresh starts and what it could do for a player. I mean, she's the prime example. Witten with a really good pitch, 1-2.
You like to see these adjustments from Witten here, especially with kind of settling in, finding the strike zone, and not being afraid to attack. I mean, throwing right at her right now, you have no choice. With 2 outs,
2-2. Lily Witten came in for Kyra Aycock back in the first inning when Aycock allowed 3 singles and 3 walks. Didn't record an out in her start today. Swing and a miss to keep it at a 7-run deficit. Lily Witten escapes the jam. Ole Miss grabs the bats and looks to cut back into this deficit when we come back in Oxford. All right, so rumor had it pregame that it was crawfish day today at the ballpark, so I had to go investigate. There was a cooler full of crawfish out in right center field, and I felt guilty that I took too much. So I went back and put, it's for the fans. It's for the fans. So I just put a little back, and I grabbed us some taste testers here too. So Carly and I, at some point we'll get to this because I think it looks like we're about to, play ball here. But I came back with a couple. We are crawfish connoisseurs. We know what we're doing here, but we'll get to this in a minute. But you can't do anything at the ballpark without a camera watching you. So Mackenzie Pickens leads things off and takes ball one. Pickens had a double back in the third inning. We're going to need napkins, too, while we do this.
Yeah.
Lessentines 1-0 pitch as Pickens skies it out to deep center. Mathis is back at the track. She makes the catch. Mackenzie Pickens goes 219 feet for out number one. Nearly left the yard. It is cooling off too in Oxford. That ball not traveling as far today.
It's not. I feel like the air is a little still. The flag's not moving at all, which means you've got to have all the power in order for you to get that over that 220 field.
Percy Yamas fouls it off. And normally this is a hitter's ballpark.
Yeah.
I mean, the wind is normally gusting out towards the outfield. I mean, if you're a pitcher, you kind of hate throwing here, wouldn't you? With the wind constantly blowing out?
Yeah, it makes it tough. I mean, you talk about having to work on some fundamentals and working on mechanics and kind of figuring out what exactly you can throw today versus what's going to travel. Makes it a tough dynamic.
But today, Lessentine's saying, give me the ball. No wind. She's allowed 2 runs, just one of them earned. That was back in the second. Has 2 strikeouts. It's pitched to dandy so far for Texas A&M. And Yamas tugs it. Still 1-2. Again, Percy Yamas leads Ole Miss in batting average, hits and doubles. 19 multi-hit games this year, too. Team leader in that column. Ole Miss's most consistent hitter. 1-2. Now it's even to Yamas. Right now, her 4-game hit streak and 7-game on-base streak are the current longest streaks on Ole Miss's roster. Two came inside on her. She fouled it off.
I feel like she probably would have been hit had she not swung at that.
Yeah, was that more of a defense swing than anything else?
More than likely.
Spoils another pitch, fouls it off the top of the netting into her own bullpen. This is what she's so good at. This is what Yamas does, spoils pitches, waits for the pitcher to make a mistake. Hits it in the air, down the right field line, ranging over Rajal, and makes the catch. All right, like we said, we're kind of pros at this, up in the booth with the crawfish. And, I mean, it's pretty simple to say the least. Push in, twist, pull, it's there. All right. Crawfish tail. Cheers, partner.
Cheers.
Pretty easy, huh?
Did all right.
Just wipe my hands off my pants now.
Right here, let me use
No.
your pants. I am in all black. I might as well.
Maddie George at the plate. This is low and away. 2-0.
That's the problem with crawfish. You can't just have one, though.
That's true. That's why I had to limit myself and put it back pregame because I knew.
You were thinking about the fans.
George skies it high and deep to left center. It's gone. #12 on the season for Maddie George. She moves from 10th to tied 5th all time for most homers in a single season at Ole Miss.
Talk about getting a piece of that ball. I mean, she absolutely, and she takes that opposite side of the field too. Both home runs we've seen today have been in the opposite direction, but she takes that well over the American flag there. Nice.
Now one of Ole Miss's hottest hitters, Cassie Reisner at the plate, who's 7 for 11 in her last 4 games. But isn't that interesting with Maddie George? She was tied for 10th for single season homers with 11, and that one moves her up to tied for 5th. A 6-way tie.
As a freshman.
Reisner got the scoring going for Ole Miss in the 3rd. Singled, or I should say in the 2nd, singled her last at bat and then came around to score. Helped create some type of offensive momentum for Ole Miss, who was down 9-0 going into the bottom half of the 2nd. .3-1 is ripped into left center, all the way to the wall for Reisner. She's thinking 2, but retreats back to first base. Wow, Cassie Reisner. Now in her last 12 at-bats, she has 8 hits. Now Reisner 2 for 2 today. Let's see if Taylor Roman can get something going for herself in SEC play. And now Trisha Ford calls time and walks on out to talk to Sydney Lessentine. Ole Miss has hit Lessentine today. In that first inning, they had a double offer. There's been some hard contact, but now it's, again, that second inning. A couple of hard hit balls led to 2 runs. The solo shot with 2 outs from George, and now Reisner with a hard hit single.
I think she's getting hit a little harder here than they anticipated. I mean, you know, the Rebels have 5 hits. They've got 8 today so far, which, I mean, I think that it's been a hitter's game today. Really, at the end of the day, I think it's going to come down to a pitcher's duel and whether or not, you know, either pitcher can retire more.
Pitch to Roman. She can make you pay with 1 pitch, too. Hasn't done it as consistently as Maddie George, the freshman, but still 7 homers, 19 RBIs. And she started SEC play 6 for 15 at the plate through the first 2 series. She was Ole Miss's hottest hitter to start conference play. Has since cooled off just because of chasing pitches like that. That was her Achilles heel in her previous at-bat.
You know, I think here you like to see a little bit more of an adjustment, especially with, you know, a player as tenured as she is, a senior, this being her last year, not watching her chase as much.
Laid off that time. Ole Miss down 6. They've scored 3 unanswered since trailing 9-0 in the top half of the second. Off the end of the bat, Dement fields the slow roller and gets Texas A&M out of this inning. Maddie George, now with 12 homers on the season, cuts into this Ole Miss deficit. Rebels down 6 on Georgia Zappo shot to left center. Top 25 coming into today at 13. Got off to a hot start tonight in this series opener against Ole Miss, as Kowalewski leads things off in this 4th inning. 9 runs for Texas A&M through the first 2 innings. 6 runs off 4 hits and 3 walks in the first. 3-run homer after back-to-back walks in the second. Ole Miss is trying to fight back, and a scorcher right to Ryan Starr, who makes the catch in the hot corner at third.
I mean, again, with her stellar defense, I think that Ryan Starr has been such a solid player for Ole Miss at third base here. I mean, and I know that she's not getting as many opportunities offensively to show out, but I think that as long as she can stay as solid as she is on the field for their defense, you're going to find her constantly starting here in this lineup.
She's very athletic, and Jamie Traxel was telling us about it too pregame, because Grace Thompson was getting the majority of the time at third as Kelsey Mathis comes up for her 3rd time today with an RBI and a single. But with plays like that from Starr, also, I mean, she just, nothing gets past her. And Jamie Traxel said the same thing too. She had a play against Tennessee a couple weeks ago, diving to her left, threw out the runner at first base, and telling Coach Traxel, I said, it's well documented that Ryan Starr's favorite player growing up to watch was Derek Jeter, and that was Jeter-esque.
Her reaction time is just so quick.
It's very twitchy. 2-1 to Mathis. Number 99. Sophomore in her 2nd season with A&M, hitting .364 against the SEC this year. 4th highest batting average on the team. Just missed from Witten. Witten got out of a bases-loaded mess back in the 3rd to keep the deficit to 7. And then Ole Miss got the solo homer in the 3rd, down 6. And she walks Mathis. Keep in mind that all but one Texas A&M Aggie that has reached via the walk has scored today.
I mean, their patience is, it's watching their offense hit. It's motivating. I know I don't get to do it. I haven't done it. Won't do it for a really long time, but
7 walks today by Ole Miss pitching. KK Dement blooped into a what would have been 6-3 double play to end the 2nd inning. She was 3 for 8 in that series win against Georgia last weekend. Scored 2 runs. 1-1. It was a rubber match that Texas A&M won 2-1 in College Station. They had to play a doubleheader to round out the series. Fly ball at the center field, and Malvin makes the easy catch. And Dement's now 0 for 3 today. Tricia Ford loved her team's fight last weekend again in that series to Georgia. She was not happy about dropping game 2, the first game of that doubleheader, 10-6. I mean, the Aggies just did not look like themselves, she said. She said, and I quote, "We were brain dead in that first game."
Gosh.
She said, "Sorry, I'm tired. I'm a little, my filter's off." Slow bouncer to Starr, guns it over the first base to retire Paisley Allen. And Ole Miss keeps the deficit at 6 in 4 innings in Oxford. Rebels with some work to do. They grab the passer. This is an offense that's sitting 199 in conference play. And yeah, those teams that they beat up on a little bit were some non-conference opponents. Did not play last weekend. Got Easter weekend off. Leilana Applin hits this high, deep left center. It's off the scoreboard and gone. Her first homer in SEC play. And now Ole Miss is down 5. Rebels with their second homer tonight.
What a nice way to start this inning, too. With no outs, go ahead and just hit a home run, put one more on the board.
Ole Miss has scored 4 straight since trailing 9-0 going into the bottom half of the second.
You like to see the answer back, at least have a little bit of aggression up there at the plate, a little bit more patience.
And again, that's one thing when you trail 9-0 early. You at least go back to your dugout knowing this game's not over.
No.
If you can just claw your way back slowly but surely. Starr called strike to her. Crowd doesn't agree. It's her first at bat today. She was penciled in to hit 8th, and then with the runner on base back in the second, Jamie Traxel opted to pinch hit Starr for Rachel Connors, who eventually grounded out back in the second. So Starr has re-entered. Next time she's taken out, she's out of the game. 1-2. And Starr's offensive numbers aren't all that great. She's hitting just 105 this year. But the first time all season in conference play, Ole Miss has hit 2 homers in a game. Called strike 3, low and away. Lessentine gets her 3rd strikeout today, and first looking. What a
There's
response.
no better way.
Yeah.
No better way to answer back to a home run than by coming back out with a strikeout.
I mean, paints the corner. I know they say swinging anything close, but my golly. Taylor Malvin had an RBI double back in the second inning. Her 4th double on the year, and now she has the most doubles she's hit in a single season in her career. Ole Miss slowly but surely trying to battle back in this series opener. They were swept by Texas A&M last year in College Station. The Aggies were ranked 7th at the time. This is looped into left and drops in front of Allen. Malvin goes right back to Allen, who she hit that double over her first at bat. 2 for 2 day for Malvin. Now 9 multi-hit games this season for the senior from Johns Creek, Georgia. But if you're Ole Miss, it's going to come down to crooked numbers at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're doing a great job so far, having, literally having scored, the Aggies are put up 9 runs in the first 2 innings. Makes it tough, but like you said, there's plenty of ball game left to make some adjustments. And with more opportunities.
Fouled off by Bunker. And again, a lot of those runs scored by Texas A&M, they're taking advantage of walks. Ole Miss is walking the Aggies less. 2 runs scored for Ole Miss in the second, 1 in the third, and now Bunker thought about laying one down. Now the solo shot 2 to begin this 4th for Leilana Applin. Still a little bit of ways to go for Ole Miss down 5. thought about it again. What's the strategy there, you think? Just to get in the pitcher's head, or is it a actual strategy for Bunker to lay one down? Because, I mean,
I'd love to see it. I would. I'd really love to see it. I think right now she's even got the third baseman here a little bit offset. She keeps looking up at her catcher like, what is she doing? What's she doing? I think, you know.
And she finds the right side gap for a base hit. Taylor Malvin hustling to third to throw from right. The tag wasn't applied. Bunker moves up to second base. Malvin's going to the third base dugout. They're saying she's out. There was no signal at third saying that Malvin was out. Take a look at it again. The throw was well in time. From our booth angle, Powell was in front of us and just, I didn't see the tag. Beg your pardon. It amounts to 2 away and a runner on second base for Ole Miss. And now Trisha Ford comes out to have a chat with Lessentine with Mackenzie Pickens at the plate, who has a double today and nearly hit a solo home run back in the third inning. 8 hits today for Lessentine, 3 earned runs. Ole Miss has just had a lot of hard contact against her today.
They have. I think they've made really good adjustments. I mean, not scoring any in the first inning and only seeing, you know, she only saw three at bats. I think they've pressed her a little bit more. I mean, and now, you know, they're mirroring the same hits that Aggies have had, 8 for 8.
All right, pitching change for Texas A&M. And we'll step aside. 9-4, Ole Miss threatening in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Makes a lot of sense. Trisha Ford going to Sydney Peters, who has 3 saves this season and is 10-4 in decisions. 90 strikeouts, too, for Peters, a career high. Junior in her second season with Texas A&M, began her career at Washington. Most innings pitched, too. She's pitched in the season here in 2026, coming off the win against McNeese, 10th on the season. Had 5 strikeouts in that one. She has the lowest ERA against the SEC on Texas A&M's roster, Carly, 2.96 ERA. She's a stud, to say the least.
She is. I mean, you're going to watch her throw in the upper 60s here, and she's got a ton of speed, and she's got a ton of spin, which I think is going to be a hard adjustment for the Ole Miss hitters here to kind of answer back to, especially this late in the game. Hopeful that they can catch a good read quickly.
And it's a different look, too, like you said. And the Rebels were getting hard contact against Texas A&M. You ought to think about some of those walks. If Ole Miss was able to execute inside the circle, what the score would be right now. As Pickens fouls it off 1-1. Right? I mean, you cut down some of those walks, you maybe get an out or 2. And 9 runs maybe becomes 5.
I think you're looking at a whole different ball game. Yeah, that's all the difference in a 1-run game. If Ole Miss can just continue to figure out their walk situation and continue to try to figure out how to do less of them, I think that you'll find that they, you know, would be a lot more successful throughout this season.
Kyra Aycock got the start. Didn't record an out in the first inning. A&M jumped on her. Worked 3 walks. They got 3 hits against her. And Lily Witten came in and allowed a 2 RBI triple. But she has held Texas A&M at bay in back-to-back innings. As Pickens ahead 3-1. And she pops it up. First base side, and it's caught by Perez, the first baseman. And Sydney Peters does what she does best. Gets quick outs. Through 4 innings, Ole Miss down 5 to Texas A&M. Start the second, then Michaela Warwick hit a 3-run shot in that second. But since Ole Miss has weathered the storm, including getting out of a bases-loaded jam in the third, they have scored 4 unanswered runs. Let's see if Texas A&M can get back to who they were in the first 2 innings of this ball game here in this 5th inning. Fragile at the plate, hitting 9th for the Aggies. Gets us started. She had a stellar freshman year, too, where she played in 53 games, started in 29 of them. Playing in the outfield, but she's listed as an infielder. That's what Trisha Ford was talking about in one of her media availabilities. She said that Fragile's just one example of many on this Aggies team, but so many of them are willing to step up and play in different positions where they may or may not have played at one point in their youth ball career, etc., growing up. Just a selfless team that just whatever it takes to win. As Lily Whitten steps off. Gosh, you love that from a team, right?
Yeah, I think that's kind of like a newer narrative, though. You're also, I mean, with Maddie George playing out in right field, they're playing positions they've never played before because they want to be out on the field.
Cassie Reisner can't get the read on the bouncer. Goes into left center, and Fragile's all the way into second base with now a double and a triple. What a night for the 9-spot hitter. 2 extra base hits. Now she's 2 for 3. She's been on base all 3 times. Gives way to Kennedy Powell. All but 1 inning now, Texas A&M's had the leading runner or leadoff hitter aboard. And Powell tried to sneak one down. 2 singles and a run scored today, hitting .429 coming into this at-bat. Began her career at UCLA. This is year 3 for her at A&M. Since 2024, now 155 starts for Texas A&M at third base. She fouls it off, 0-2. Picked up NFCA Central All-Region, 3rd-team honors last year, 2nd honor by the NFCA in her career. She was All-Region at UCLA her freshman season. One and 2, crowd wanted it. One, 2, chop to first. Percy Yamas steps on the bag. Fragile moves up to 3rd. That brings up Talon Edwards. That's the 3rd highest average on Texas A&M. Coming into today, hitting .370. Infield in. She swings at the first pitch. I mean, get a load of this. Edwards is hitting .176 in SEC play, and her average is still .370. Well, now .373 coming into this at bat. She had one heck of a non-con.
Yeah. A few, maybe.
She was hitting .426 going into SEC play. That got away from Whitten all the way to the backstop. Luckily, it took a friendly bounce off the netting, and that kept Fragile at 3rd. You ever had one of those happen to you before?
Yeah, a little bit, but that was a little wild. I don't really know what to say with that one.
It happens. Happens to the best of us. 1-1. Hit in the air, left center. Fragile's going to tag. Malvin makes the catch. Let's see if it's deep enough. And it is. Texas A&M brings in another. And it's 10-4 Aggies in the 5th. Another sac fly RBI for the Aggies, who came into today 9th in the country in sac flies. And Edwards now with her 29th RBI of the year. Here's Maya Perez. Pops it up. And it's off the netting and into Ole Miss's dugout. She's walked 3 times today, Perez. Let's just say it's something she's used to.
It's just very disciplined. I mean, the patience up there to be able to do that. I mean, you know, to draw 3 walks, knowing that, you know, she's hit 14 home runs and she's hitting 455. It's just an incredible at bat.
38 walks this year for her. Now 20 of which are in SEC play. 90 walks in Perez's career. 90. 78 of which have come in the last 2 years. And she rips this into right. It's got a chance. It's off the top of the wall. And the longest single she could ever have in her career. She's smiling back at her dugout, too. Just how close was this? Wow.
She barely misses that.
Now she comes off, and looks like Trisha Ford's going to summon a pinch runner, and she will. Ansley Gross, freshman from Keller, Texas. I mean, that went 200 and what, 15 feet, you think?
Yeah, easily.
And she needed 216 to run it out of here.
I don't know if she could have hit that any harder, honestly.
I'm killed to see the exit velo on that. Michaela Wark at the plate. She hit a no-doubter that hugged the right field foul pole back in the 2nd inning for her 17th homer of the year and the 46th of her career. She's had 10 or more homers in now 3 of her 4 years of college softball. From Frisco, Texas, transferred to Texas A&M to be a little closer to home. Spent the last 3 years at Oklahoma State. 3-0. Lily Witten tries to work out of this 5th inning. Already allowing 1 run to score for the Aggies in the visitors' half of the 5th. For pitch walk. Five walks since Witten came in back in the 1st inning.
I'd like to see their walks be less, you know, but I mean, it's also not a bad walk there, knowing too that she's drawn, you know, a couple walks. She's K'd, but also the home run. If you're trying to stay into this game, you kind of want to leave that as less damaged as possible.
Now Bunker out to have a chat with Witten and the rest of the infield as Kowalewski steps up, today's catcher. How much of these meetings are about strategy, you think? Or is it more just about encouragement?
You know, I think it's probably a little bit of even keel right now, given that, you know, they're down by 6. But also, she's thrown a couple balls here in a row, and knowing, too, that they really can't afford to put another runner on the bases for free. Not with 2 outs. You're this deep into the game, you only have so many more opportunities to kind of make some advancements and put some more runs up on the board. You'd like to see her dial in here and go right at her.
Kowalewski waves and misses. She's put the ball in play in all 3 of her plate appearances today. Leads the team with 13 doubles and 15 multi-hit games. And AK leaves it high. Extended her 6-game hit streak to 7 in her first at bat today with an RBI single. Ties her season long. She had a 7-game hit streak from late February to early March. 2-1, paints the inside edge, 2-2. Can Lily Witten get out of another jam and limit this to just a 1-run inning for Texas A&M, who scored their first run since the top half of the second this inning? It's not past their bedtime. They're rooting for Lily Witten. 2-2. Full count and a payoff coming. Payoff pitch. Inning continues. Bases are loaded for Texas A&M. And Jamie Traxel's out of her dugout and has some words for Scott Mayer. 9 walks tonight for Ole Miss. 2 of them now this inning. This crowd is less than thrilled. Kelsey Mathis at the plate. She can do some damage here as she takes strike 1. But with an out to work with, the Aggies have a chance to blow it open again. Two quick strikes from Witten.
She's made a really solid adjustment here in her off speed. That's what I think she's been leaving a little high. It's gotten a little wild on her. It's gotten away from her. But I like the confidence. I like her, throwing it with runners on and runners in scoring position here, not afraid to overthrow it, dialing in, and working on locations.
It's like Piper White, 00's going to come into pinch run for Warwick, who is at second base. So now Gross at third, White is at second, and Kowalewski at first. 0-2 count to Mathis. Bases loaded. Texas A&M trying to extend their lead. Seemed like Ole Miss was going to do everything they could to make a push to get back in this game after trailing 9-0 after the top half of the second. They scored 4 unanswered runs. Aggies finally back on the board here in the top half of the 5th, looking to do more damage. And Witten steps up. One, two. Mathis today, 2 walks, an RBI with bases loaded back in the first. Does have a single today. Thirteen of Mathis's 26 hits this season are in SEC play. And she is battling against Witten.
I mean, I think Witten's doing a better job here as the game has gone on. I think that she's gotten a little bit more settled down, is able to kind of like place and locate a little bit better.
Dangerous hitter, too. You saw on your screen a .448 average with runners in scoring position for Mathis. Got her swinging, strike 3. One across for Texas A&M in this 5th. This crowd's got something to cheer about. But Texas A&M back up 6. Fulner on the off speed as Ole Miss will grab the bats when we come back in Oxford. They've got some new energy right now.
I feel like you have to turn something around. I mean, it's nice to have a crowd and an audience that's also helping engage and do that too. I mean, there's such a nice show out today with the amount of fans in the stands. There's nothing more you can feed off of.
Sydney Peters elevates against Percy Yamas, strike 1. This crowd wanted something to cheer for all night. They got it in the top half of this 5th. But again, this Ole Miss team has a lot of work to do still as Peters throws it just a tad high. 1-1. And this is Ole Miss's best hitter statistically at the plate, or I guess you could say most consistent hitter in Percy Yamas. But A&M's done what it's needed to do today to potentially get a win on this Friday night. Ouch. I know the helmet's there for that reason, but it still doesn't feel good.
No. I mean, I feel like she's had a couple of close calls today. I mean, you can tell that they've had a strategy to throw really right at her to keep most of the pitches that she's seen has been on the inside of the plate here. Allow her not to get a full extension.
7th hit batter this season for Peters. And again, we mentioned she has 3 saves. All of her saves are in SEC play. It's tied for the most in conference play this season. And Yamas getting checked out behind first base. Just double checking that she's okay.
It looks like a little bit of yes and no. Like that really hurt, but.
She's going to stay in this game. Again, I don't care. Oh, guess not. So Yamas comes out. She can re-enter. And Ole Miss will use a pinch runner. Izzy Rediger. Probably the smart thing to do, just to give Yamas a little bit of time.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of recovery.
Well, again, that doesn't feel good. We've all been there.
Yeah.
And at this level, too, you're taking 70, upper 60s, 70 off the helmet. And you admire Yamas for wanting to stay in. And now Trisha Ford, her 4th-year head coach, and in her 16th season as a head coach, pulls her team in. Now she's brought out Kate Munnerlin. Maybe this is it for Sydney Peters. It is. Munnerlin instead, number 88. All right, pitching change for Coach Ford and Texas A&M with a 6-run lead in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Carly, why bring in Kate Munnerlin here, the sophomore? She's a lefty.
I think the dynamic is going to be a lot different. You know, they've watched, 2 pitchers, both right-handers, throwing in the upper 60s. You're going to watch her also throw in 60s, but in the upper 60s. But you're also going to see a little bit different pitches here. It's a strategic thing.
Maybe this is why, because Maddie George skied one out beyond the left center field wall her last time up. 12 homers now this season for George. And she hits another. This is also scraping the sky. It's out of here. "13 homers in her freshman year. George with her 2nd multi-homer game in 2026.
I mean, she stays all the way back and literally lets the trigger go with her hips. I mean, that hits the trees. How far was that?
Two for 3 today with 2 homers. Her first career multi-homer game was in a loss against McNeese. What the true freshman is doing is unbelievable. Quick call of time. George did homer against Tennessee a couple of weekends ago, hit a 3-run homer to tie the game. It's in the 6th, 3-3 in the series finale. Now George has 3 homers in conference play and gives way to Cassie Reisner, who is all sorts of hot right now. 2 for 2 today. And is 8 for 12 in her last 4 games at the plate. 10-6 ball game. Texas A&M up 4, but with swings like George's, who knows if they're safe. Reisner now with 4 multi-hit games in a row. Only her and Maddie George have done that for Ole Miss. And Reisner fouls it off. Munnerlin's ready. Here's her 2-1. Cut on and missed. It was just Munnerlin's 5th home run she's allowed this season in 30 2/3 innings. Sophomore in her 2nd season with Texas A&M. Most production she's had 2 in a year this season. Roped into center, but right at Mathis. Makes the catch. Cassie Reisner's hit the ball hard every plate appearance today.
And majority, I mean, and mostly to like the same spots. I mean, you talk about seeing the ball really well right now. There's no better time in the year, but at the later half of your season to just come in and start seeing the ball as well as she is.
Taylor Roman leaves it high. 3 homers today, too, for Ole Miss. They hadn't done that all season.
No.
I should say, stress in conference play, they haven't done that. Something's gotten into these Ole Miss Rebels, and I know they're down 4. But gosh, Carly, you got to wonder if they cut down the walks in those first 2 innings. A&M took advantage. You really wonder what this game would be right now.
I mean, yeah, you look at the amount of hits that they have, and they're 10 for 10 on that. But I also think that if you didn't have those walks, this ballgame would be a completely different ballgame. They may even be ahead if you cut the walks in half even.
Texas A&M had 3 walks in the first inning, including 2 that brought in a run with bases loaded. And a 3-run home run by Michaela Ward. The 2 that she hit in on that 3-run home run reached on back-to-back walks. That's already 4 runs right there. It's a 6-6 ball game.
Could be tied. The energy kind of feels like that, though.
The energy around the ballpark feels like this is a 1-run game, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Ole Miss still has a pretty lengthy way to go. We're in the bottom half of the 5th. Roman works the walk. There's 1 away. And you know, Aggie fans may be stressing a little bit. Sure, again, 4-run lead, but you sense the energy in this place. And Munnerlin on that walk is going to get pulled. Peters back in. All right, we just saw Peters, but we're going to step aside and let her warm up. You know Trisha Ford's not treating this like a 4-run ball game by re-entering Peters. Peters back inside the circle, faces Leilana Applin, who homered her last time up. Bloops it down the right field line. Fragile coming on to make the catch. And there's out number 2. So now Applin's retired. And Ryan Stark comes back up as she gets some intel from Applin. So Peters came in the 4th, got the final out for Texas A&M. Then hits Percy Yamas. Maryland replaces her, right, Carly? Allows the 2-run shot, the hard hit line out to center, then the walk, and now Peters is back in this game.
Yeah, I think it's I mean, I wasn't expecting that strategy, not today, from the Aggies, not showing, you know, the Ole Miss Rebels your at least top 2 pitchers of your pitching staff, and to have gone 3 deep with a lead that's 10-6. You can tell they really don't want to lose this game.
Liesl Osteen pinch hitting for Ryan Starr. So Starr is out of this game. She struck out looking in her only plate appearance today. So Osteen's batting average at .286 this season. Half committed swing. Now down in the count, 0-2, 2 away. Ole Miss has scored 2 runs in this 5th. Swing and a miss. Got her to chase side away on 3 pitches. 10-6, Texas A&M hanging on. We head to the 6th in Oxford. Week of rest for Easter weekend. Took the series against number 4 Tennessee 2 weeks ago. Percy Yamas back in this game after taking a pitch to the back of the helmet. Good to see the Rebel first baseman back out there. She was good enough to run after she got hit by the pitch, but Jamie Traxel decided to use a pinch runner anyway. And there's Grace Thompson in for Ryan Starr, who was pinched hit for now twice in this game, unable to re-enter now after being pulled. Lily Witten back inside the circle for another inning of work for Ole Miss. She's been pitching since the 1st inning, and she faces KK Dement in this 6th. How critical is a scoreless inning here if you're Ole Miss? Down 4, you kind of feel like this crowd is energized, and they're giving you momentum.
I think it's crucial. I mean, you still give your team an opportunity to score more runs.
That hits KK Dement when she was out of the box. Out number 1. Just one of those series of unfortunate events for her.
It would have been a fantastic bunt had she not gotten in the, you know, the line of play, allowing it to hit her and then the automatic out there. But also stellar for the Ole Miss Rebels. This is exactly how you want to finish the last 2 innings before you guys head back in.
Paisley Allen. She's ahead 1-0. Sac fly RBI back in the 1st, single in the 3rd, and grounded out in the 4th. Chops at the 3rd, Grace Thompson. High throw. Sometimes the ball always finds you when it's your first time out there.
Right. Wants to make sure you're ready and you're awake.
2 quick outs for A&M's offense. They have not gone in order all night. Lily Witten and Ole Miss pitching, they've had traffic on the base paths in every inning tonight. Again, 9 runs scored by Texas A&M in the top of the 1st and 2nd innings, and just 1 run scored by them since. Fragile at the plate, 2 RBI triple in that 1st inning, in which A&M scored 6 runs. Had a double in the 5th. She has 2 extra base hits. The rest of the Aggies have 1. That was a 3-run home run by Michaela Ward. Flares it left field, and Texas A&M goes in order after Applin makes the catch. For the first time tonight, the Aggies go 3 up, 3 down. And Ole Miss, with 6 outs remaining, are down 4. Slowly but surely clawed back into the game. Made Texas A&M feel a little uncomfortable. I'd say the Aggies are right now. Down 4, Ole Miss has some energy in this building.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've done they've just done a well job today. I don't feel like this is, you know, a lot of the Ole Miss team that we've seen this year. You just like to think that maybe they've made some adjustments in the last few weekends. You know, taking that win against Tennessee was solid. Having an off weekend and then having to, you know, show up to this, it's tough.
Well, we asked Jamie Traxel, as Taylor Malvin steps up 2 for 2 today with an RBI double and a single, about that weekend off and the momentum that the Rebels had going into a weekend where they weren't playing. Because you think about it, Ole Miss got its first SEC series win in Knoxville, first series win in Knoxville in program history, and then they go and don't play softball the next weekend. I mean, that's a huge momentum boost for a team that was winless in SEC play. She said, well, they tried to, at preseason, work a series into that weekend. They just couldn't logistically figure it out. And that's why the midweeks work so well against Central Arkansas and Sanford earlier this week. 1-2 to Malvin, checked her swing, and the appeal. Tatum Stolting says Malvin held up, 2-2. But it's not been an easy season for Ole Miss. Series against Texas, Oklahoma, Alabama. Into left center. And Taylor Malvin has a leadoff single in this 6th inning. Why does it feel like Ole Miss has the momentum down 4 runs?
It does. I mean, the stands, everybody. You can just feel it. If you can feel it in the air. I think they're just starting to see the ball a lot better. And they're starting to string together some hits that I don't think you've seen from this team this year. No better time to peak than at this point in your season.
Here's Kennedy Bunker. Taylor Malvin with a 3-hit day. Her second 3-hit game this season. Big deep breath for Kennedy Bunker. 1 for 3 today. A double back in the 4th inning. And again, she shows bunt. She did that a lot in her last at-bat, wound up getting the double from it, but now she's down 0-2. Peters can't get Bunker out for now. And Peters has 3 saves, 3 saves in SEC play. There we go, it came out. That leads the conference. In the dirt, Kowalewski kept it in front. Malvin stays put. Peters had 2 saves last weekend against Georgia and 1 against LSU. 1-2 just puts the bat on the ball. They go to second for 1, first for 2, in time! Edwards to Menin Perez. Twist it for the Aggies in the bottom half of the 6th. A killer 4.63 for Ole Miss.
It was another well-hit ball, but I think if she had just kind of waited on that a little bit more, hit it a little bit harder, could have created a little bit more of chaos on the base paths.
This is exactly how you draw it up if you're the infield for the Aggies. Now Ole Miss with 2 outs in this 6th after having the leadoff hitter aboard. Pickens down 0-2. Peters was clutch against Georgia last weekend. Had a 4-out save in Game 3 that clinched the series. In the series opener, faced 3 batters in just 1 inning. Pickens hung on, 1-2. Peters just has a slow heartbeat in these late game situations.
I don't think we've seen as much of her rise ball today as I anticipated to see. I mean, she's got a rise that she throws at like a multi-level here. But I also think that the Ole Miss hitters have kind of made solid adjustments and laid off a lot of that stuff. I mean, they haven't seen her a whole bunch, but I imagine they will throughout the rest of the weekend.
Pickens, fly ball out to right center, and it's Mathis who takes care of it for out number 3. Rebels get the leadoff hitter aboard, but a critical 4-6-3, and then a fly out gets Texas A&M out of it. Up 4 on Ole Miss. Show for it. Up 10-6 on Ole Miss, looking for a win on this Friday night. Aggies in the driver's seat right now with a chance to do more damage with the top of the order due up. After scoring 9 runs in the first 2 innings and working 5 walks in those first 2 innings, seemed like the Aggies were just going to run away with it. Then Ole Miss started to make it more and more interesting as the game went on. A&M started to concede more runs. As Kennedy Powell leads off this 7th, 2 singles today. She's 2 for 4. Now hitting .425 this year. Lily Witten hits her. That was close to the bottom of the bat. You never know with those. But Scott Mayer grants her first base. Doesn't look like Jamie Traxel's going to challenge. And as I say that, she opens the gate.
Maybe not.
Nope, she won't.
I'm kind of surprised by that.
All right, we'll let it be. Here's Edwards, runners on the move. Throw down is not in time. Powell swipes the base, her 18th. And now Jamie Traxel's going to have the crew take a look at this one.
Ole Miss is challenging the call at second base. The call on the field was safe. This play is under review.
Tatum Stolting, our crew chief today. So our friends in Birmingham will put down the coffee and get to work.
Coffee at 8:30?
Why not? It's a long night. We got prep to do after this, Carly. We got 2 more games.
We do. I feel like more of like an energy drink.
Energy drink? What are you, ripping monsters at 8:30 at night? Here's Hawkeye. And zooming in on that. Oh, Cassie Reisner.
It looked like the ball had a good read on that. And she's out.
Yeah, the tag is applied right there, it seems. Powell's only been caught stealing twice this year. She's 17 for 19. I think this is going to go Ole Miss's way.
I mean, she didn't challenge the hit by pitch. I figured she would challenge that.
In real time, it looked like it was in time.
Honestly, I thought she looked out to me.
Well, folks in the ballpark entertaining themselves with the cha-cha slide. Same with A&M's dugout. I feel like that's what challenge reviews are really for now for the dugouts these days, just for dance breaks.
A little encore.
Yeah.
After review, the call on the field has changed. The runner is out.
There you go. Kennedy Bunker throws out Kennedy Powell. Powell's caught stealing for a 3rd time this season. So Witten, after hitting Powell, gets that out back. So 1-0 count to Edwards. Ole Miss down 4. Needs to limit Texas A&M here. The Aggies went in order back in the 6th for the first time all night. They've been applying pressure time and time again on Lily Witten since she came in back in the 1st, and Witten has stood tall.
I think she's been solid in the circle today. I mean, I think that there, are a couple of adjustments that she could have made a little bit sooner, but I think that you're starting to see her make those adjustments later on in the game. You just wish that you'd give your team a little bit better of an opportunity at keeping that score a little bit closer by reducing a lot of those walks.
What adjustments were you seeing from her that you liked?
I think she's located and found a little bit more of the strike zone. I also think that the strike zone's been a little bit bigger. I think it's been, which is a good thing. I mean, for a pitcher, it's your dream.
Yeah, you're a pitcher. You would say that. Strike 2. Speaking of maybe a big zone.
Big zone.
That's definitely ball 4. And how crucial is that? That out at second base by Bunker to catch Powell stealing, because now it would be nobody out, runners on first and second base, and back-to-back free passes for Maya Perez.
We talk about making adjustments, but, had we not had that play happen just now, I mean, this, which isn't the first time I feel like throughout this game that it's not mimicked a lot of what's happened or did happen in the first inning, the second inning. I just think there needs to be a little bit more control. Consistent control.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there are moments of strength where you see a whole different pitcher, and then there's a lot of reverts. I feel like you're back to where you were a couple of innings ago.
Maya Perez at the plate. Had a 205-foot single, we'll call it, her last at bat. Hit the very tippy top of the wall in right center. Takes the first pitch strike. She carries a lot of power. 304-foot bomb against McNeese earlier this week. In fact, the social media team called it Artemis 3. We got Artemis 3 2 years early. Late on the swing, 0-2. Also, the Astronauts are back. They splashed down safely.
And did they?
They did. Well-executed mission by NASA. Double play gets Lily Witten out of the inning, and Ole Miss back in the dugout to try to come back, down 4. Is that a good miss? 0-2 count?
I don't think it's a bad miss. I think I'd like to see her locate a little bit closer to a strike zone and, just barely miss. Especially given that, the latest swing was so late and was so far behind. I feel like Perez is struggling a little bit here to kind of match the tempo.
Misses high. Perez, too, is the master at working walks. 3 of them today, 90 for her career. 2-2 is popped up. And a massive second out for Ole Miss. Reisner makes the squeeze. But doesn't get any easier, because now Michaela Warwick is at the plate. And a 3-run home run back in the second after Edwards and Perez work back-to-back walks. She's walked twice today, now has 4 RBIs. Off-speed curls in there.
I think her off speed is lethal if she could just consistently throw it a little bit more for a strike and miss more appropriately.
Again, Witten came in back in the first inning. Has allowed 4 runs since, including the 3-run shot by Wark. Also a sac fly RBI in the 5th. This is flown out to shallow right. Coming on is George, but out is Pickens, and the sophomore makes the catch. Got a little dicey in shallow right, but Ole Miss down to their final 3 outs. Down 4 to Texas A&M on this Friday night. On Texas in Austin. In this game, though, between A&M and Ole Miss, Rebels down to their final 3 outs, down 4 against one of the best closers in the SEC in Sidney Peters. There's 3 saves, all in conference play, including 2 last weekend against Georgia. Facing Ole Miss's most consistent hitter, Percy Yamas, who's 0 for 2 today with a hit by pitch. Bounces it to third. Well played by Powell. Long throw. Gets her in time. And all Peters needs is 2. But Maddie George hasn't been an easy out. 2 homers today for George. She's up to 13 now this season. It is tied for 4th with Lexi Brady. Lexi Brady's an Ole Miss legend who's in Ole Miss's dugout right now. Lauren Grill for Ole Miss has the freshman record with 14. If you're Ole Miss too, you have 3 home runs today, 2 of them solo shots. Is Brady in your upper right corner in the dugout. Just put on that navy blue crew neck. Sometimes you can live with the solo homers, especially when you're up 9-0 after 2 innings. You'll live with the solo shots.
Yeah, I mean, if that's all you can kind of string together, I feel like yes, but I think it's the being able to gather a couple of hits and really make production that way that kind of helps turn the momentum.
2-2 to George. Story of this one, 9 runs for A&M in the first 2 innings. They worked 5 walks. All 5 that reached via the walk scored, including 2 runs came in via the walk when bases were loaded. George chases the high heat. 2 away for Peters in this 7th.
It's a hard pitch to lay off of. I mean, she can locate her rise ball in 3 different locations. It's going to make it really hard for the Ole Miss Rebels to lay off of it. Knowing, too, that they'll probably see her again throughout this weekend, it's an adjustment they'll have to make quickly.
Peters' second strikeout tonight. She faces Cassie Reisner. Miss low. Reisner now 4 multi-hit games in a row. It's Ole Miss down to its final out. And you thought, too, if you're an Ole Miss fan, final 3 outs, Yamas, George, and Reisner coming up, you felt pretty good about this inning and maybe a potential crooked number, but Peters has been tremendous. Now Reisner down to her last strike.
I mean, and I also think it's a difference in pitches too. You didn't really see a whole bunch of high pitches from either 2 pitchers previously. I think they're having a tougher time adjusting to her strike zone.
1-2, hung on by Kowalewski behind home plate. Back-to-back strikeouts ends this game for Peters and Texas A&M. The Aggies scored 9 in the first 2 innings. Ole Miss slowly but surely tried a comeback in this game, but Texas A&M hangs on and wins by 4, and that does it on this Friday night in Oxford. Game 2 and 3 tomorrow and Sunday afternoon. So excited for it. Jack Robertson directed it. He's the phenom. Mason Atkins produced it. He's the genius. For Carly Hummel, I'm Jake Cremata saying so long from Oxford. Massive thanks to the best crew in the SEC who took care of us tonight. 10-6 final. Texas A&M takes game 1 of our 3-game set in Oxford. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader. Talk to you tomorrow afternoon from Oxford.